Was it just me, or was the marketing for this movie not really telling us that this was a musical? Because I had no idea that's what I was walking into. So The Greatest Showman is basically about this real-life man named P.T. Barnum, and he's played by Hugh Jackman. And it's basically about his life. And so he starts off in not the greatest financial situation. However, he's able to rise to fame and fortune through the circus. He's the man that invented the circus, so he brought the people together like the bearded lady, the world's tallest man, the world's smallest man, the world's fattest man, trapeze artists, lions, elephants, all those type of things to bring them together into one place to give you the circus. And so it's just the story of how the circus was made. And it's an interesting story, but it's not always interesting. But before I get into that, I wanted to touch on the subject of the music, because I did not realize at all that this was going to be a musical walking into it. And by the second song, I was like, shoot, this is a musical. Dang it. Not a huge fan of musicals. However, I really enjoyed the music in this movie. Now, they're not all great. Like, the first two songs weren't my favorites, but the songs in this movie I thought were rather good, and multiple times I found myself tapping my foot along to the song, because I'm like, this is kind of catchy. And there's like two songs that are actually played like 2 or 3 times during the movie, and I'm just like, this sounds like a little overbearing, but it honestly fits with the situation and what's going on, and it makes sense. And the choreography is like different every time, and it's interesting to watch. The choreography I thought was really good in this movie. And so it really never felt like I was listening to the same song every time, just because what was on screen was completely different. And I don't know, they were enjoyable songs, I thought. And I didn't find out till afterwards why I enjoyed the song so much. It's because I looked at a poster and I saw on the top said, from the Academy Award-winning lyricist of La La Land. I'm like, that makes sense. He wrote the lyrics for this movie. Makes complete sense now. I really enjoyed La La Land, so I'm like, yeah, that makes sense for me. If you enjoyed La La Land's music, you'll probably enjoy this music. At least that's how I experienced it. But the music's not always great, like I said. Like, the few songs towards the beginning, and then there's some songs I'm like, I would have rather you explain that through just talking rather than a song, and it's just not. Sometimes there's also not the greatest transitions, because sometimes it's like, busting out to song! Wow, that was weird. I don't know why I just did that. But anyway, that was really weird. That was jarring to myself. But they don't always do that. Sometimes it's busting out into song. Sometimes it's not. I much prefer the not, just because I prefer it when it actually feels natural. Like, it actually fits within what's going on in the movie, and it just makes a whole lot more sense to me. I prefer that type of song, and that doesn't really bother me. However, busting out into song, yeah, that bothers me. So there's that. And the music I thought was probably one of the best parts of this movie. However, the character arcs, not a huge fan. Like, there's a character arc in Hugh Jackman's character, and it's like halfway through the movie, and it's just his character goes a different direction than I would have liked, just because the tone doesn't really necessarily fit with what else was going on in the movie, or what was going on before and after, and the tone just doesn't fit, and it feels out of place to me. I mean, that might have been the actual story of P.T. Barnum. I really have no idea, but I doubt it's all that accurate, just because I doubt he like busted out into song all the time. So who knows? Maybe he's just that type of guy. I don't know. Then Zac Efron and Zendaya have a decent amount of screen time together, and their relationship just really didn't work for me. Their chemistry just wasn't working for me. Like, I didn't see it. And then there's some times where Zac Efron actually comes off as a little bit of a creep, but I mean, it's just their relationship didn't work for me. Now, their acting I thought was fine. I thought everyone's acting was fine. Now, I didn't think anybody was mind-blowingly fantastic or anything like that, but I thought they were all good. It just wasn't as great as far as the characters go as I was hoping they would be. And then the CGI in this movie. The elephants and the tigers, they looked completely fine. I had no problems at all with how they looked. But the backgrounds stick out like a sore thumb. Like, they look really, really bad. However, I think it's supposed to give off like a fairy tale-esque feel to it, and it does pull that off. And I believe some of them might have actually been paintings. Not 100% sure on that. My memory's kind of failing on that. but the backgrounds, they kind of felt like a fairy tale to me, which I find kind of weird just because it's about a real life man. So why would you want it to make it feel like a fairy tale? I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but it did kind of give off a fairy tale feel to it. And so if that's what they were going for, they pulled it off. However, I'm not 100% sure if that's what they were going for. And so overall, I really enjoyed the music in this movie. I was surprised by how much I enjoyed the music in this movie. And by the end of it, I wanted to dance and, well, not necessarily sing, but I kind of wanted to dance after the movie. And so it's just like, it's a happy-go-lucky movie. It's a movie that will get you in a good mood, I think, and it's just happiness, basically, for the most part of the movie. And so I'm going to give this movie a 6 out of 9, and what we were seeing at a matinee ticket price. And it's just, honestly, this movie has some problems, but if it didn't have the music within it, even though I'm not a big fan of musicals, if it didn't have the music in it, I'd probably bump it down to a 5 out of 9. Who knows, if maybe even lower, I don't know. But I really enjoyed the music in this, surprisingly, to a good amount of degree. And so, thank you all very much for watching this, and if you enjoyed this, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel to see more content like this. And remember, no movie is a perfect 10 out of 10. God bless you all.